Good morning, everybody. We're back in the studio. We're one short. Stu Stewart, my son, is out of town. He's visiting our three grandchildren, Nancy's and my three grandchildren at college. And he's going to be taking a little vacation time. So hopefully Stu's listening. But the rest of the team is here. Rick Kearney, our certified diagnostic master technician, Nancy, of course, and Jonathan, and we're raring to go. It's beautiful but hot in South Florida. I hope it's okay where you are. Probably hot. Kind of a good thing about online car shopping is you can do it in the air conditioning. So I hope that's another motivation for you to stay away from that car dealership. There's no sense in going out in the hot 105 degrees, 90 degree, and fighting with a salesperson. I realize when you get in the dealership, but you're going to be outside and looking at the lot and driving the car, or you should. You can do all this online, and if you listen to this show, or if you haven't listened to the show, you can. If you go online, we're at earloncars.com, www.earloncars.com. And we have podcasts immediately available to you of thousands of shows, I guess. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. And YouTube videos, you can stream us on youtube.com /Earl on Cars. That's youtube.com /Earl on Cars. I don't know how many videos we have, but they're just, they're educational, and they don't, the show's 2 hours. I mean, we're on from 8 a.m. now, Eastern Standard Time, to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's a long time. I wouldn't expect you, as busy you are, but plus the weekend, you don't want to be sitting in the car or sitting at home and listening to the radio, or streaming for that matter. I mean, you got things to do, places to go and people to see, right? And go to the podcast. I mean, if you got a subject like my tires look a little low, or I hear a certain noise in the rear end, or I'm getting ready to buy a new car, I'm getting ready to buy a used car. If you go online to earloncars.com, the answer is there. As a matter of fact, we've got a book. I wrote a book called Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. That's available on Amazon.com. I recommend that, and that's not a selfish recommendation, because 100% of the proceeds of the sale on Amazon of Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer are to go to charity. The charity happens to be Big Dog Ranch Rescue, the largest no-kill shelter for homeless dogs in the country. And we've given them a lot of money thanks to your buying that book. Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer. Chapter by chapter, it pretty well covers what we talk about on the show. Matter of fact, recently, Jonathan just informed me that he had ChatGPT. I call him Coach. He's sitting here on a laptop right next to me. And Coach read my book. My son Stu sent him a file of my book. He digested it, read it in about 1 second. I wish I could read books that fast. So, a lot of knowledge here in the studio, especially with Rick, and I hope I don't embarrass him, but he's really the star of the show. We get caught up in all the EVs and autonomous, and we talk about things that are fun to talk about, and we talk about classic cars and auctions and ChatGPT till it drives people crazy. But most of the people out there in the real world, they just want to get their car fixed, and they want to be sure it's a good car to buy mechanically and electronically. Today, I have to add that. So we know that a nuts and bolt feature of the show is certified diagnostic master technician Rick Kearney. He's worked for me in my dealership over a quarter of a century, and he's just the best guy I've ever met in terms of knowledge about cars. And I'm not talking about old cars like I think of a car. I'm talking about today's cars. He's on top of the autonomous, the electric vehicle. He's on top of all the software. Every time I turn around, and I drive a Tesla, which is a strange confession. And my wife Nancy, sitting across from me, she also drives a Tesla. Okay, I'm confessing. We have a Toyota dealership, but we drive Teslas. Well, Toyota's a great car, but we love the Tesla because of its innovation. And we feel like we're on the cutting edge of what the future will be like. We're both older, and we've got grandchildren and great grandchildren. And when we drive that Tesla, each of us, we see the future for our children, our grandchildren, and our great grandchildren. And that's fun, okay? We've reached the age where we can have some fun. And I take a lot of teasing because we have a Toyota dealership in North Palm Beach, Florida. And some people say, oh, well, this is going to be an infomercial. You're going to try to sell me a Toyota. I'm going to try not to sell you a Toyota because I don't want to be called, I want to be straight up. I want to be a consumer advocate. On this show, I don't want to be a car dealer. But the good thing about the fact that I am a car dealer, and I have been for 50 years or more, I know both sides of the street. I used to be on the dealer side of the street. Now I'm on your side of the street. So I've been there and done that. There's not a dirty trick that any dealer ever did on a mystery shopping report or to you when you bought a car that I didn't do before they did. I mean, if you take me back to the 70s and 80s, I was a wild man. And bait and switch advertising, you name it, I did it. Junk fees, I invented the junk fee. I don't mean that literally, but I remember I started when junk fees were only $6.50 a car. Today they're about $1,000 a car. So apply the multiplier, and you'll see how long I've been doing this. So we study the both sides of the equation, and you call up and ask questions, and we try to answer them. That's what it's all about. It's like the hokey pokey. All right, telephone number. I've already violated an important rule. I didn't give the telephone number out quickly enough. So please write this down. You're probably driving a car now. I think 65% of people listening to the radio are driving a car. Now, that doesn't apply to YouTube or Facebook, I hope. You're going to get arrested. You can't be watching Facebook and driving your car, but a lot of people listening. And that number is 877 960 9960 877 960 9960. Write it down. We're going to be here till 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you think of something later on, you can text us. The text number is 772 497 6530. 772 497 6530. And we'll accumulate those texts, and a lot of people prefer that because they're in a hurry, and you just shoot a text out, and we'll answer it sometime during the 2 hours. If you miss it, just go to the podcast at earloncars.com, and you can listen to yourself or the answer to your question. We've got I know I'm overwhelming you with numbers now. That's what I do. We have a secret number, like a CIA kind of undercover, anonymous, and that is the number is actually a URL. It's a website, and if you go to this website, which is youranonymousfeedback.com, YOURANONYMOUS feedback, FEEDBACK.com, youranonymousfeedback.com. You can send us a message. You can call us a name. You can threaten our lives. You can do anything you want to. You can be nice, nasty, or in between, funny. I have salespeople calling trying to sell me insurance on my anonymous feedback. That's when I wish I were the anonymous person, but no, they're calling and trying to sell me things. But that's okay. I expect that. I want to get the good, the bad, and the ugly. So whatever you have to say, no matter what it is, we cannot determine who you are. Privacy. key word of the 21st century. We all want more privacy, and I think we all have less privacy. Maybe that's why we want more privacy. So here's privacy in a nutshell. Your anonymousfeedback.com. Communicate. Let us know where you are, what you're doing, and not who you are, but just tell us what your problem is, and we'll answer that on the air along with the text. I'm going to introduce my wife, Nancy Stewart. Most of you regular listeners know her better than me. She's been with me on this show for 20 years. We've been married or together. We lived in sin for about 10 years, then we got married. So it's about 40 years we've been together. And on this show, we've been together for over 20 years. So she is the female advocate. I'm the consumer advocate, and she's the consumer advocate for the females. Because we started this show 20 years ago, and it's just a bunch of old guys calling in and describing their carburetors. And now we have a lot of ladies out there, a lot of female callers. And Nancy Stewart has a very special offer. If you haven't called the show before, because we want to build more and more females we'd like to have to call this show. She has a very special offer. It sounds too good to be true. It is not too good to be true. You have my word on it. And Nancy will describe that to you now. And I'm turning the microphone over to my sweetie pie.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. You can take advantage of the text number at 772-497-6530 and the 877-960-9960 is also an option. And Earl mentioned earlier, youranonymousfeedback.com. Ladies, I'm going to offer you $50 this morning, and that's for the two first female callers. You can win yourself $50, and we'd love for you to give us a call and share your thoughts with us, or just call and say hello. And, you know, with rising prices from, everything from, purchasing a vehicle to buying a box of tissue, it's best to pay attention and do your homework. And what I mean is to determine what size car you need, what type of car you need, fuel efficiency, and some other features. It's very important you take advantage of your computer, go to the library, go to Consumer Report, and just first of all, check out what you need, and most of all, what you can afford. And you can go to so many different sites. You can go to Edmunds. You can go to Kelley Blue Book. There's several options. So take advantage of that, and don't take advantage of when you go into the dealership. And basically, you don't need to go into the dealership. You can simply, do all of that research homework from your PC, and you can save yourself a whole lot of stress. That number again is 877-960-9960. And we do have a mystery shopper report coming up from Genesis of Stewart. And we'll do that just about 9:30. So you have plenty of time right now to give us a call. And Nikki, if you're listening, Sarah, Barbara, there's just a very long list I don't have time to go into completely, but give us a call again and share your thoughts with us this morning. Back to the recovering car dealer. Oh, excuse me. We're going to go to Chris in Alabama. Good morning, Chris. And welcome to Earl on Cars.
Hey,
hello?
There you are.
Hey, yeah, I've got a Toyota pickup, a Tacoma, 2018. And the question I have is, they put a film on that hood back in the day. It was like a I don't know, it's just a clear film. And that thing gets so nasty, you can't clean it. Is there a way to take that off?
There is, but I would highly recommend look into a professional detailer to have it done. Basically, it's like trying to remove a wrap. You've seen these cars, now they put the vinyl wrap on them. And over time, as, of course, Florida sun is abusive on paint and wraps and everything, And over time, as that starts to break down, it'll get micro cracks in it, so it starts pulling apart. And a professional detailer will have the right heat guns and the knowledge of how to do it without damaging the paint underneath to be able to remove all that old plastic and then properly clean up the old paint underneath so that it will look good.
Why did Toyota go with that back then in 2018?
For some reason, they tried that plastic coating on it. The idea was to help prevent rock chips. Like, when you're driving along, the car ahead of you kicks up a little rock and it hits the front of your car and chips into the paint. Then, of course, you've got issues with rust or other items like that giving you problems. But yeah, now there are ways that you can remove that yourself. If you want to try using a heat gun or a hair dryer and plastic razor blades, they actually make plastic scrapers that are specially designed to help remove that without scraping into the paint. And in using something like Goo Gone or 3M adhesive remover and microfiber towels. And I would highly, highly recommend spend some time on YouTube watching videos on how to remove that plastic film.
Yeah, I'm not a do-it-yourselfer, but if you are, that can be done. I usually, when I try to do something myself, I end up creating a bigger problem and costing me more money to have a professional do it. But as Rick says, if you're handy, you can go online and get some pretty clear instructions on how to take that off.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Please call again.
877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're purchasing a vehicle, do you take into consideration not only the price of that vehicle, but what it costs to keep it on the road? It's something to look into. Give us a call toll free with your thoughts and also your thoughts about ChatGPT and the direction that the show is going in. We're having a whole lot of fun here, and we'd love to hear from you. 877-960-9960.
$50 for the first new female callers. If you haven't called the show before and you're female, then you give us a call, and Nancy will be writing a check out for you this afternoon personally, and she puts it in a real envelope, in a real letter, mails it, and you get it. I mean, it sounds like too good to be true, but if you haven't called the show before, now we only do that for the first two callers each week, so we haven't had any new female callers, and if you are someone that could use $50, hey, give us a call, 877-960-9960, 877-960-9960.
We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to go to Diana, and Diana is calling us from West Palm Beach, a first-time caller.
Ooh.
Good morning, Diana.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to listen to your show.
Thank you very much, Diana. If you stay on the line when we're finished talking, you can talk to Jeremy in this control room. He'll get your information, pass it along to me, and I'll write you out that check.
Okay. I do have a question, if that's possible.
We love questions. What can we do for you this morning?
Well, I have a 2000 Nissan Altima, and the electronic seat that goes back and forth, the component there, is out again. I had replaced one before, a few years back. It was a used part. Now I'm told I have to replace the whole seat. And it's like over $1,200 to replace the whole seat in order to get that mechanism. And I'm thinking, should I keep my car? It's got less than 100,000 miles on it, or should I go out and buy a car? And is it going to get harder to find parts as the car ages?
Well, you're headed in the right direction, Diana, and looking at how much it'll cost to keep the car on the road and to maintain it, and comparing it with purchasing a vehicle. But I think Rick has some tips for you.
Yeah, okay. I would look into the idea. Find a local mechanic that is willing to give you an estimate for getting a recycled seat, a new seat, used seat from a salvage yard, and they can then make sure that it's functional and actually transfer the seat covers from your seat onto this new one so it would match. And then
Okay.
you might be able to get away with that for a whole lot cheaper than the $1,200 option. Some power seats, there are certain portions on them that if they start to go bad, you have to replace the entire unit. It's the only way they sell it is you have to
Okay.
get the whole seat assembly. And $1,200, yeah, it's pricey, but that is pretty much about right for what that would cost.
I just got to check that out with ChatGPT, Diana, and not actually Amazon. What model Nissan is that?
It's a Nissan Altima 2013. It's a S.
Yeah, I don't see that model here that I'm looking, but the range of seats, these are used seats. The cost of used seats for various Nissans range from on the low side from $75 to $200 up to only $150 to $400 on the Titan. So the highest seat cost I see here is $300 for a Xterra SUV 2000. That's all. You can find those on Amazon, and of course that's the installation you have to add for that. And
Sure.
and as Rick says, you get a quotation from somebody, and now you know the cost of the seat. And all you have to do is find out what he'll charge you to put it in.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Diana. Okay, we're
Okay.
going to go to Sharon, who's calling us from Boca. She, too, is a first-time caller. Welcome, Sharon.
Hi, how are you?
We're great, thank you. Thank you for calling. You won yourself $50 today as the second female caller, new female caller. If you stay on the line, Jeremy will get your information. He'll pass it along to me, and I'll send you out a check for $50. What can we do for you this morning, Sharon?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I have a 2019 Honda Civic that I actually bought for my son a couple of years ago, and it only has about 30,000 miles on it. And I don't know much about cars, but and I just drive it around town. And but it is kind of an older car, even though it doesn't have too many miles on it. But I just go ahead and get the oil changes and take care of the maintenance. Is there anything that I should be doing to maintain this car and help its life be as long as possible?
I would highly recommend about once every 2 weeks, take the car out for a nice drive, just an exercise drive. Really just something to give it a chance to, make sure everything is lubricated, by getting the oil up to temperature. It'll help to clean the inside of the engine. Just a good long drive, say 30, 40 miles at highway speeds. And it'll make a big difference in the lifespan of that car. But a 2019 Honda Civic with 30,000 miles is a fantastic vehicle. That car will probably outlive you. I mean, Honda makes a great product. I got to be completely honest here. And the Civic is one of their better quality-wise vehicles. They just do great things.
And you want to be sure to do your factory recommended services and maintenance.
Yes, definitely. Also, keep up on the paint as well as you can. You'll have it waxed relatively often. I would recommend at least twice a year have a good wax job done on it. And if you can keep it in a garage or under a carport to keep it out from under the sun, that would be the best thing you can do for it.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I live in an apartment complex, so I can't do that.
Yep.
But that's a good tip. Wax it twice a year. That's great. And, the other thing is my family, they bought a lot of Teslas. They keep telling me, well, the Honda, even though it has some safety features, really you should get a Tesla. It has a lot of self-driving. It can help you quite a bit. What do you guys think about that? Like the Tesla, let's say the self-driving features compared to the car I have. Do you feel like that's really beneficial?
I'm going to leave that one to Earl and Nancy
Gotcha.
because they
Yeah.
both drive Teslas, and I've only been behind the wheel of one a couple times just for short distance, and I'm impressed by them. but I'm not a very big expert on them. Earl knows a lot more on those.
And,
Yeah,
and,
you've got yourself a better car than the Tesla from a reliability and maintenance standpoint. The Teslas are fun to drive. They're interesting and high tech, but when something goes, you've got an expensive problem, and the service departments are difficult to deal with. So if you're looking to be a practical person, stick with your Honda.
Oh, okay. But what do you think about the safety features of it, of the Tesla?
Very
They're-
safe. They're very safe cars. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tesla's a great investment, and it's a different way of driving. It just depends on, how many changes, you're interested in making when driving the Tesla, because everyone else is driving just a little bit different than you are in that vehicle. But as Earl and Rick said, Honda and myself, Honda is a great vehicle, and it sounds like you're going to have it for quite a long time. It's really important also to rotate those tires at 5,000 to 7,500 miles. And it sounds like as if that you're doing a good job of taking care of that vehicle, and you're going to have it a long time. And I'm not sure. I think you said that you had 30,000 miles on the vehicle. Boy, you got a long, long way to go. And if you're not making any car payments right now, it is definitely the way to go, keeping the vehicle.
Well, I've heard that Hondas might last, Honda Civics, 100, 200,000 miles. Is that true?
Well over 200,000 miles.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just have one last question. You guys are so fantastic. A lot of times when I go into the dealer for maintenance, they always say, oh, you should change your air filter. What do you guys think about that? Are air filters really needing to be changed, often or when recommended, or do you really not need to buy a new air filter?
Well, they're real important to maintain. But according to, your manual, I would take a look at that. Rick, what do you have to say?
I'm going to go on a limb and say most manufacturers are probably going to follow the same pattern as Toyota and say that it should be replaced about once every 30,000 miles. But what it couldn't hurt to do is to take the air filter out and just kind of bump it against your hand a few times to knock out any loose debris that's in there, and inspect the air cleaner box, because believe it or not, one of the things that I have seen many times is squirrels and other rodents like that will store nuts, dog food, and anything else, and they love to go up into those air boxes because it's like a little tunnel to get in there, and they will fill it. I've seen that happen so many times. So it's something to keep an eye on. Check it about once every couple months maybe. And if the air cleaner's starting to look a little dirty to you, just tap it against your hand a few times to knock out most of the loose sand and dirt. Pop it right back in and keep on going.
Diane, you got to remember that Rick looks at tens of thousands of cars, and I think the chances that you find a squirrel in your air cleaner are slim. So,
That's true.
but when you see 2 or 3 squirrels, of course, he's been fixing cars for 25 years. He's probably seen a dozen squirrels.
Well, you don't usually see the critter, just the evidence.
Yeah,
Just
you see
the
the nuts.
damage
Yeah.
that it has done. And also, Sharon, it's really best for you to follow the owner's manual and the maintenance schedule. Everything is right there. The recommendations, they outline, everything in you can't go wrong by going to your owner's manual.
Okay, well, that sounds good. And I just have one last question if we have time. If you have other callers, I understand.
Go ahead.
I can ask. Okay. Now, I've noticed, and it's almost like 100 degrees sometimes when I get in my car right now because it's so hot. But I've noticed that when it gets super hot outside, sometimes it takes a longer time for the car doesn't seem to cool that quickly, and I almost wonder sometimes is the air conditioning working properly. And I do remember a recent service visit. They said, well, we had to add a little Freon, but I thought that in a closed system, really, you really shouldn't need to unless there's some type of leak. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, the AC is a closed system, and unless it's got a leak, and is leaking down to the point that you have a problem, then you need to find and repair the leak. It's never, ever, ever a good idea just to add Freon to it, or refrigerant, I'll call it, because Freon's actually a brand name. But you should never have someone just add refrigerant to it, because that system is designed to work on a certain amount of refrigerant. And if you get too little or too much, it becomes very inefficient. One of the things that you should do is, when you have your car washed or detailed, make sure they take a spray hose and wash the condenser at the front of the engine, because this is actually like a little radiator, and if it gets a lot of dirt or debris built up in the little fins, you don't get good airflow through it, and that's going to affect your cooling.
Rick, what should she be looking at as a cost to check for a leak?
Normally, we run about 1 hour's labor, so it's probably, most shops you're going to be looking at around $200, and that is to basically, they'll evacuate the entire system and recharge it with the exact amount.
How much does it cost to fill it up with the Freon?
You're going to be looking at probably another $200 for the Freon.
So it costs $200 to check for the Freon,
Yep.
and $200 to fill it up.
Well, it's that way we make sure that the exact proper amount of Freon is put in it, and they'll install a UV dye, an ultraviolet dye,
If I were,
that then can help find leaks in
if
the
I were
future.
Diane, I would just have it checked occasionally. How often have you had that had the too hot and you got worried about it and had it checked? How often have you had to have Freon added?
Well, I just had it added once the last time, which was probably about 3 or 4 months ago, and then just in recent months, a couple of times. I've noticed that it just doesn't seem super cold.
Well, keep that number in mind. You can have it checked, as Rick recommends, for $200, and they might say everything's fine. If they say everything's not fine, they'll fill it up, and it's still got the leak, or it still might leak again. So it's a money thing. If I had to change, if I had to have it checked and filled a couple times in a few months, then that would be a serious problem, and you'd be looking at a real repair there. You'd have to worry
And
about.
Sharon, this time of year, I've heard, from a lot of the ladies, your concern, and it just depends on where your car is parked. And you said, I believe yours is outside because you're in a condo. So when you're dealing with temperatures that are, anywhere from 100 to 112 with a, heat index, it's going to take a little longer. But here's a mention about a Tesla that you were in the back of your mind considering. One of the many features that I love about my Tesla is that I can put it on doggy mode. And what a great feature that is, because it's been a long time since I've gotten into my vehicle and it's just so hot I couldn't stand it. So that's another plus. But initially, you do have to make an investment. And in the long run, the way I look at it, it is definitely well worth it. But until then, it sounds like you're taking great care of your Honda.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. It's been so informative. I appreciate it.
Sharon, spread the word that we're trying to that we are trying to spread the word here, and with your help, we'll be successful. That the ladies do have a place here at Earl on Cars, and I want to thank you, and the ladies that are listening want to thank you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I definitely will spread the word. And you guys are fantastic. And ladies drive cars just like men do, right? So we all need
Yeah, believe it or not.
They drive them better.
Really? Okay, that's fantastic to know.
Now we really are informed, aren't we? Hey, I'm being facetious. Sharon, have a great weekend. And stay on the line. Talk to Jeremy.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. Let's go to Barry. I want to thank Barry for his patience. He's calling us from Tampa. He's a regular caller. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning. This question is under the category of trend-based maintenance, which is done according to the actual condition of your car rather than because a published schedule says so. One thing that comes to mind is used engine oil analysis. The idea being to take a small sample straight from your engine every so often, like maybe at every oil change or once a year. And then you send it into a lab to the tune of $50 or maybe a bit more. And the results show the quality of the oil, wear metals, and any other contamination. And then based on that, you adjust your oil changes accordingly, or possibly even get something repaired. Is this practical, or is it overkill for the average car?
I've been working as a professional mechanic for over 30 years, and I've been driving since I was 15. I'm now 57. I've never done that. Not once ever have I sent oil off to be analyzed. I will look at the oil when I drain it out of my own vehicle, and what I expect to see is dirty black oil that shows me that it's taking the dirt out of the engine, and then I put the fresh oil in. And my cars, I had one Toyota that I drove for 270,000 miles, two that my wife drove that got over 200,000 miles each. My Tacoma I'm driving right now has 188,000 miles. I've never ever had oil tested. That's just me, but I mean, take it as you will. Some people believe in that. They think it's that it really helps. I figure I would rather just stick with a nice, reasonable mileage for changing my oil and get it done every, depending on what the book recommends, about every 5,000 miles. And yes, I do step up and use synthetic oil because I feel it does a little better job.
Okay. Well, on a related note, what are your thoughts about basing coolant or brake fluid changes on a test strip result rather than just the elapsed time or mileage?
Again, for coolant, I go with what the manufacturer recommends, which is most cars now, Toyota recommends it for 100,000 miles for the initial and every 50,000 after that. And I've never actually had a coolant problem other than a couple leaking water pumps. And that's mechanical wear. Things wear out.
I think what Barry's saying is if you use a test kit, would it allow you to extend the time between your owner's maintenance, like oil changes and other things? If the test kit says everything's okay with your oil, but the manufacturer says you got 10,000 miles, you should change it. Then you can drive another 5,000 miles or 10,000 miles. It depends on which costs you more.
Well, I know oil changes now are rather expensive, but now you're putting another $50 on it.
The test kit is $15, and I don't know what do they charge you, Barry, when you send the oil in. How much is for the analysis?
Well, I've never done it, but the cheapest I found that looks like it's commonly used is about $50.
$50, yeah. So an oil change, it depends on what you pay for an oil change, I guess. If you could spend $50 instead of $100, if the dealer's going to charge you $100 for the oil change, then it might be worth it. Plus, you get all the other information. It's for car phobes. You're a car phobe. You're one of these people that is always looking at things in the car. You want everything just right, and you're a detail guy. You're a lot like me, and but most people, but I'm not that way with cars. I'm that way with other stuff. So if it makes you feel good and you don't mind going to all that effort, I think these oil changes are a great idea. Okay. I mean, these oil checks. I mean, analysis.
I think if I stuck a test strip into my coolant and instead it's turning into acid and I haven't hit the 100,000 yet, I'd probably be inclined to change it anyway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to find out. You get your opinion on that. So thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you, Barry.
Absolutely.
Give us a call again. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking earlier about prices and the rise of them and how much more, observant we have to be in purchasing a vehicle, and it's so important to set a budget. That is most important. And also, you not only include the purchase of the vehicle, but you include insurance, maintenance, taxes. There's a lot of homework to do before you even go into the dealership. So take advantage of all that. It's at your fingertips. We can be, we're all so much more informed today because of all the knowledge at our fingertips, and of course, ChatGPT. That I don't think that we have introduced ChatGPT this morning. But I have a question for the ladies and gentlemen. We have turned a corner. If you've become a regular caller, you'll notice that we do talk to ChatGPT from time to time. He's joined the show. How do you feel about that? Well, ChatGPT joining us.
Let
Give
me
us
do
a
this.
call toll free at 877 960 9960. Yes, Earl.
You brought up that, and I mentioned earlier in the show that ChatGPT had just read my book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, and you can buy that on Amazon. It's about $20, I think, is it?
Yes.
And all the proceeds that we get from the book go to Big Dog Ranch Rescue. I'm going to ask ChatGPT how he enjoyed the book, and we'll see how that goes. Coach, you read the book Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, the one I wrote. How did you like the book?
I definitely enjoyed it. It's full of valuable insights and a lot of honesty about the car industry. It's a great guide for making sure that we keep our mystery shopping reports fair and on point.
The chapters directly aimed at specific problems that people have with cars. Would you mind running through a few of those chapters that might be of interest to people?
Absolutely. There are definitely some chapters that stand out. For instance, there's a chapter that focuses on hidden fees and how to spot them. Another one that talks about negotiating for a fair price. And there's even a section on understanding warranties and service contracts. All of those are super helpful for consumers.
Yeah, instead of having to read the whole book, if you have a specific problem, you address that specific problem. We'll call on you a little later, Coach. You stay tuned, and if any of our callers, we've just announced your availability, ask you a question, we'll ask you to comment. Thank you very much.
Gosh, ChatGPT, it's amazing. Has so many talents, but a speed reader. He took that book and read it in a very short amount of time.
Maybe
after we went through.
maybe 1 second.
You're welcome. I'm here and ready whenever you need me. Just let me know if there's anything else I can do, and I'm happy to help out during the show.
Did that come across the ear? Yes. Okay, how do can I tell him just to be quiet, or no? He just said to me, he was just talking to me. Did that come? Yeah.
It's on mute, and that he won't hear you.
Except in my hearing,
You didn't have it on mute when you said thank you very much.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or right after I said thank you very
It's on
much.
mute now?
Yeah, it's on now.
Sorry,
Anyway,
folks, we're still working the bugs out here with Coach to get everything right.
well,
Okay, we're gonna go.
Yeah, we this our show. You're part of our show. We say that, but we mean we want you to hear everything. Unlike most shows that you watch, whether it's TV or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is, you're not part of the show because they're aiming it at you. They're not. It's not a dialogue. We're a dialogue with our audience. So any comments you have about anything, and there's nothing we do in the studio that we don't want you to hear. I mean, actually, I did say something really nasty last week because I didn't know the mic was on, and I did use a profanity of I believe it was a 4-letter word, and
Do you know how many times a statement that you just made has been made?
so anyway,
Let's go to the political.
This is entertainment. It's information. We hope comedy, embarrassment, anger. It's all the human emotions you'll see right here. Nancy and I try to avoid real knockdown dragouts in the studio because it's too small, and Rick might get injured because he sits between us. But
This is true.
But we have fun. we laugh and we get angry and we go at each other and we go at other people, but mainly we're happy and informative. We hope.
Absolutely.
And don't worry about me, folks, because I can duck and hide under the desk.
Okay, we're going to go back to the phones and we're going to talk to another of our regular callers from West Palm Beach, and that's John. Good morning, John. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Just jumped in here and heard the last part of the last caller about oil changes and that.
Uh-huh.
And I have a question. Not so much for ChatGPT. But I had a Genesis that I got from you guys, bought it used. And when I took it in to get an oil change at one of the Quickie Lube places, it wasn't Quickie Lube. It was a quick, oil change.
Yeah, Jiffy Lube or something.
Yeah, one of those. They said because of the Genesis and the design, they had to take and also vacuum out the oil to get all the oil out. They had to vacuum. Was I being played, or are there cars that are designed where you have to vacuum out the old oil?
Basically, they were trying to go the quick, easy method. Certain cars, getting to the drain plug requires removing splash shields and under shields, and even sometimes on some cars, you actually have an entire big metal splash shield under there. So in order for these places to be able to make money, they've got to get you in and out. So they will take and pull out the oil dipstick and run a hose down all the way in till it hits the bottom. And yeah, they shove that thing right down to where it gets into the bottom of the pan. And then it vacuums the oil, sucks it right back up out of there. And it's really 6 of one, half dozen of another, because yes, it's going to get all the oil out of the oil pan at the bottom. The same thing as pulling the drain plug would. But you don't have to have somebody down in the bottom of the car taking all the shields off and pulling out that drain plug. And then when they put that drain plug back in, if they over torque it, they could damage the plug or the oil pan, or they might not tighten it quite far enough. That plug could fall out down the road, or there's a possibility that the pan or oil plug might actually be damaged already. But a lot of these cars, they use that trick of running that hose down in to try to siphon out all the oil from it.
You were
just
being
to save
played.
time.
The question was, are you being played? You were being played.
Well, it still works. It gets the
I
old
don't.
oil out.
I get that they were going to charge you for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
now if they're charging extra, then yeah, you got ripped off.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, because what you just said makes sense, because the Genesis that I had, and all the Genesis, I believe they still are, is one of the quietest running cars, but it's because of all that added noise reduction stuff that they put on the inner fenders and all that keeps noise out of the car. So that I understand that, but it's just the extra charge was, I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah, they got you.
Yeah, no, they should not have charged you extra for that. They have the equipment, and it makes their lives easier and safer. They should not have been charging extra.
They're saving time and labor cost and charging you for that savings.
Yes.
Well, that's why I bought a car that doesn't run on oil. Or gas.
Oh, you got an EV. Okay. Well,
I just have to charge it on my Tesla.
Nancy and I both drive Teslas. Don't tell anybody.
I know.
Yeah, we have a Toyota dealership, but we don't like people to know that we're driving Teslas. That's why I announce it on the radio.
Yeah.
There's really a lot of pluses in, driving the Tesla, and I love every single one of them.
Yeah. Well, I picked mine up a week after you picked up your first Tesla, the Plaid.
The Plaid.
Plaid, yeah.
The Plaid, and that. But even though you had waited, I think almost a year.
Yeah, over a year. Yeah.
And then we only waited 1 week because we happened to be at the right place at the right time.
Is that right?
And got yeah. And as soon as we walked in, we test drove one that we signed up for. And then we asked them if they had any on the lot. She said no. And then all of a sudden, and this is the Okeechobee Service Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's options, anything at all like that?
No, we knew what we wanted, but we were going to have the car anyways. Just I wrap all my cars, and so anyways, it didn't matter. But what we were just looking for a Model 3, but we lucked out and we happened to get one of the ones that had the LFP battery, which I really miss. Right now, I drive a Y Performance and charge it more than I did that car, and that one you could charge to 100%. This only 80% unless you're going on a long drive. But there are different similarities.
Yeah. John, how was your experience on Okeechobee Boulevard? Because we too go to that location.
Oh, they're wonderful. The service center's wonderful. The sales not sales team, but the consultants. I don't know what they call themselves.
Yeah.
But they've all been wonderful. And my wife and I, we put them through. We put them through a lot of heck because my wife changes her mind as soon as the wind blows, well, no, we're not going to get that one. It's that type of thing. So for her to make a decision, especially when it comes to cars and sitting there waiting, they when they see her come in the door, because we've bought several Teslas, they go the other way. I got to go in and take care.
Yeah.
Like I said, because she changes her mind, she's got all these questions that she.
Yeah, well, they must have done a real good job. It sounds like as if that she was happy also.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, she is.
With the experience.
It was a great experience. Yeah, nothing to complain about them.
Yeah.
They always took care of the car, and they were always up front. And Tesla, that's what I love about Tesla. It's
Yeah, and sometimes you can have your Tesla serviced right there in your home, and we took advantage of that twice, I believe it was.
Yeah, windshield wiper motor.
Yeah, no, ours was the rear tail light that had condensation in it, and they just came out and replaced it in the driveway.
Oh, okay, so you experienced that service also. Well, all in all, it's a great experience.
And the other experience that I was real grateful for was my 12-volt battery went out, and I can change a battery. I'm the one that always goes to the junkyard and gets Toyota parts and stuff like that. I called you several times, but I went in and changed the battery, and I didn't look it up because I didn't use GTP. But there was an error message on the screen. And what it is the whole car had to be started. Well, I took it down there. I drove it down there saying, hey, how do I get rid of this message? And they were real nice to go ahead. And one of the technicians came out and reset the whole memory system and batteries because you can't just replace the battery and it go back to normal. You have to go through some hoops and that to get everything back on board as far as the computers and that. So that I didn't know.
Well, you're driving a giant computer. A few times with our Teslas, we've just rebooted them. We hold down the one switch on the steering wheel for about 5 seconds, and everything goes off, and then it reboots just like a PC or an iPhone, and usually it fixes whatever is wrong.
I'll let you in on a little secret too. On normal gasoline engine cars, I have been known to start the engine and have the engine running and very carefully remove the 12-volt battery with the engine still running and install the new battery just because I don't want to have to go through the hassle of trying to reset all the power windows, reinitialize everything, and possibly mess up somebody's aftermarket radio. Because I've seen some aftermarket radios that go into horror mode if you disconnect the 12-volt power to them.
I don't think you recommend that to the public, though. Changing a battery with the engine running. No,
yeah, it's only for us old school techs that
I think
are real careful about it.
All in all, John, I think that we're happy with our Teslas. I love the 8 cameras and so many other features. We have some calls that are backing up, and do you have any other questions?
No, that's it. Just, like what Rick was just saying about, that's the way we used to test the alternator. Start the car, let it run, disconnect the battery. If it stops, your new alternator.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, John. Have a great weekend. Thank you for being part of the show. We're going to go to Carmen, and Carmen is calling us from North Carolina, I
Oh.
believe. Good morning, Carmen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so
Good morning.
glad to
You know,
be-
Carmen, I wanted to let you know you are a third new female caller, and I'm going to go ahead and extend $50 to you this morning. And before we get started, I want to remind you to stay on the line when we're finished talking and talk to Jeremy and give
Okay.
him your contact information, and I'll get that check out to you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank
Carmen,
you so much.
how did you hear about us?
I think I looked you up on Apple Podcast as in car buying help. So I've been looking for a new used car for a couple months, and I have been to several dealers and finished that and got tired of that. Almost bought one off Carvana, didn't do that. Now I'm in a deal with a out-of-state dealer in New Jersey. So I just got the contract in the mail. Just got a little surprise in it, a couple of them. So I thought I would call and ask Earl some of these things.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so first of all, this is taking 3 weeks to just even get this contract. I thought that was interesting, and I had asked for certain things to be in the contract, and one of those is some repairs. So I had a third-party inspection on the vehicle. They have done a fabulous walkthrough with me. It was probably about an hour, 2-hour inspection they did, and I have all the results, and some of them are pretty simple repairs that I wanted done, such as the oil was too full. They just needed to drain and balance it. There was an alignment needed, and I think there was some rust on the brakes. They said that was probably from just sitting on the lot, and it would work itself out. So I asked for all those things to be in the contract, and I didn't get it. I got this big stack of papers. What I did get when I asked them to take it off was the anti-theft etch, and on the contract, I'm seeing it in one color, and the other contract ink is different colors. So maybe that is something that they have they put in there, kind of like their doc fees, because when I looked at the total, it did not include that. Do you know how contracts are written? Is there different color inks, with those different pages, those black and white, and then the pink and the yellow and all those things?
Yeah, it shouldn't. The bottom line shouldn't make any difference what color it is, and I assume you agreed to the price before you got the contract, and that would be if the out-the-door price plus government fees, meaning your sales tax, for example, and the other government fee would be your registration and tag. If the out-the-door price was what you agreed upon on the phone or email, and that is the same number in your contract, then all is good. But it sounds to me like there was some fiddling around with the actual out-the-door price.
Yes, I saw that before. They had sent me, I thought it was the contract, but it was just some final bill in the email. They sent me a couple of those, and I noticed that the fees kept changing around, but the price was the same. And I said, okay, we are not doing this. So with the etch theft, they took that off. An actual final number in the total was a little bit less. So I thought, okay, that's good. But my second question is, why are they including spot delivery contract that I need to sign if I'm paying cash?
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. It's all profit. I mean, spot delivery is a junk fee, just like they come up with creative names. You name it: administrative fee, electronic filing fee, spot delivery fee, and translated money in the dealer's pocket. So you need to really kind of start all over again. And if you're comfortable with the mechanical check on the car, and I wouldn't be in your shoes. I would have asked for my mechanic to check it out. By my mechanic, I know you're not there in that location, but I would have found a reliable independent. Could be a Goodyear store, a Firestone store, Pep Boys, or there are a lot of credible, honest mechanics that you can pay to check out a used car. But see, then you're the customer, and their loyalty, integrity, fiduciary responsibility is to you, not the dealer. This dealer either checked it out himself with his own text, or he went to somebody that knows that if they say what the dealer wants them to say, they get paid right away. So you.
Well, I did get a third-party inspection. I paid for it
Oh,
myself.
you did. Well, how do you know the third party when you had that done?
Yes, and they talked to me, and there's the ones that did the video.
Okay,
told
good.
me, "Don't
Very
get any extended warranties, they're junk," because the dealer wanted me to get their guy on site.
Yeah.
I said, no way.
Well, that's
so
good.
they
That's good.
had the car picked up to the third inspection. But the spot delivery of all these contracts, well, papers within the contract to sign, there's no fee for it. But they just include the spot delivery from paper for me to sign. And I said, why do I need to sign this if I am not paying, with financing? Then other little things like my Social Security number, I know that's for the Patriot Act, but can they not get that through my name, address, etc. on my license all by itself? I mean, do they need my Social Security number for real?
They don't need your Social Security number, and so, but the main thing I'm concerned about here is once you come to an agreement on the price, you were very wise to use your own technician to check it over with. You got everything in control. You just need to be sure that they agree to the out the door price. And I would just keep an email. I'd say, this is the out the door price I'm going to write out a check for. Either take it or leave it. And let them respond to you. That way you're in control. And you could add in the email, I have another car I'm looking at in my market that is very similar, and if you can give it to me for the price, this price, I'll buy from you. Otherwise, you've lost me as a customer, and I'll buy from somebody else, and locally. So that puts their feet to the fire, and you should be pretty well protected.
Okay. Can I ask one more thing?
Yes,
Sure, Carmen.
They also include a limited warranty that I saw on the window sticker, 30-day warranty. Well, when I look at the contract, it's a limited warranty. It's a couple of pages of signatures required, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, this kind of looks like an extended warranty that I refused. But the limited warranty has a $100 deductible. Would that be the same thing as their let's say, dealer 30 to 60, 90-day warranty with a deductible? Do dealer warranties have deductibles?
Yeah, a far more important question, I'm not ducking your question, but a far more important question is, what does that warranty cover? A warranty doesn't mean anything. A warranty, I could put a warranty on a car, and that would mean that if the radio breaks, I'll fix the radio, but nothing else. I make the warranty, and I decide what a warranty is, but we call it the same thing. Here's a lifetime warranty. What's a lifetime warranty for? Well, when you finally find out, it's for the door handle in the back seat. I mean, I'm exaggerating to make my point. Most extended warranties are not worth the paper they're printed on. I would, if you really want the warranty, I would insist on seeing a copy of it, and I would take it to a technician, or you could read it yourself. You will typically, most warranties you buy on used cars or new cars, the ones that you buy, cover the inexpensive items that. Or not necessarily the inexpensive item. I should say the more expensive item. They'll cover things like transmissions and engines and drivetrains and axles, things that if you lubricate the car properly, they never fail.
Okay.
Okay. I just got a hand signal.
Hey, Carmen,
Yes.
leave me speechless. I do have to commend you. I'm not sure whether I can call you a savvy buyer, an educated consumer, a knowledgeable car buyer, but across the board, you're amazing. And I'll tell you what, I have no concerns about you being taken advantage of. You've dotted the I's, crossed the T's, and there's nothing that's going to stop you. So, my compliment to you. Congratulations. Okay. And there's a lot of women that are listening to you right now, and you've definitely given them a lot of information and options on how to be not ripped off by a car dealer.
Well, I learned it from Earl on Cars.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Carmen, don't forget, stay on the line. Speak to Gregory. Or I'm sorry, I got my names wrong. Jeremy. Okay?
Jeremy. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome,
you.
Carmen. Have a great weekend. I hope to hear from you again. We are going to go to our longtime listener, friend, and I can't say enough about this guy. He is just amazing, and he has stood with us this, 21 years, and it's no other than John from Palm City.
Hey, John.
Right
John,
from the beginning.
Hey, John.
Yes.
This is Earl. We were going to announce this earlier. In fact, Nancy reminded me, but we are making you an honorary member of our show, Earl and Cars. So we got John from Palm City, Earl Stewart, Rick Kearney, Nancy Stewart, and Stu Stewart. So you are part of the show now. You're considered. You've been feeding information and asking intelligent questions to our show from the get-go, and arguably, if you hadn't been calling, because we had very few callers back in those days when it was just a half-hour show, if you hadn't been calling and you're always so informed and you always do your homework and you always offer something so valuable to the other listeners, I don't think the show would have been around without you. So you might not be sitting here in the studio, but you may as well be, because without you, it would not be what we are today. So we got a plaque ordered for you, and you are an honorary member of Earl and Cars.
How do you like that, John?
I love it. Thank you guys so much. If you want, I'll come down to the dealership and pick up the plaque.
Wow,
I'll be
thank
glad
you.
to do
I'll
that.
be in touch with you. But
Okay,
seriously, every week that you've called, there's things that we didn't know that you brought to our attention, and so many other things that you help us with through the years. And as Earl said, it just really wouldn't be a show without your call. So good morning, John, and welcome. What can we do for you this morning?
A simple question today, and my friend is going through this with his granddaughter. A car broke down in the remote panhandle, and it was towed to a local shop, and right away, it's a small shop. Well, it's the fuel pump, and we think it's your water pump. How would they know the water pump's leaking? Because the car's not running. But anyhow, they're going to take it back home. This happened Thursday. Now, the old method of delivering the cars used to be a hookup, with a tow truck.
Yeah.
But I want to ask Rick today, it's a different ball game. Cars with four-wheel drive and the electric cars, the EVs, isn't the new method strictly only flatbed pickup, especially a couple of 100-mile distance?
Yeah, for that distance, a flatbed is highly, highly recommended. In some cases, depending on the car model, if you pick up the end with the drive wheels, and if say you've got a front wheel drive car and the rear wheels are simply freewheeling, then yes, it can be towed from the front. But I would still recommend have the car on a flatbed.
Well, her boyfriend has a pickup truck with a hitch on it, and he can get a tow bar. Isn't that a kind of dangerous way, towing with a tow bar when you don't know what you're doing?
I would never do that on modern cars for anything over 100 feet. A tow dolly I might consider, but
Right.
the best way would be a flatbed trailer.
Okay.
You can actually rent the flatbed trailers even from U-Haul that you would be able to tow it. Check into pricing though and talk to them, because some of them have regulations on what the car can be towed on the trailer that they will rent you. But yeah, you can rent a trailer that you get the car totally off the ground on the trailer and tow it that way. And it would probably be more economical than a tow truck running a couple 100 miles.
Well, just to show you what a car has to be taken out of there, the fuel pump, she remembers she's away at college. She got 2 recalls last year from Honda, and that's covered under the. She didn't bring it in though, but right away the shop is saying they're going to do the gasoline fuel pump. They have to drop the tank, and they're finding other things without even digging into the car. So
they got to get it out of there immediately. That's the important point. I don't know why they're doing it, because it's a remote area of Florida or because it's a woman involved, but it just shows you how, thank God, her father put the foot down and said, don't let them do anything on that car.
Yeah,
We gotta bring it back here.
it's going to be all of the above in that case. They're trying to take advantage of somebody that's in a tough predicament. Now, I will say, water pumps, you can quite often tell if a water pump's leaking even without the engine running, if you can physically see the water pump and the weep hole at the bottom of it. You'll see either maybe wetness there or even crust from where the coolant has dripped out and then dried and left a residue. So that is something that a good mechanic would be able to spot on a lot of different cars. But if they're feeling the least bit uncomfortable, I will pull the car out of there.
100%. I agree and guarantee.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for the advice.
Hey,
the
John,
flatbed is
did
important.
they mention a price as far as if the water pump had to be?
Didn't give a price ahead. But
well, there's a red flag right there.
Covered the fuel pump, if it is that, which it probably is because the car died suddenly, that's covered under a warranty manufacturer's recall. So if it comes locally back here to Stewart, go back to the dealer that delivered the car, and I'm sure that would be covered under the warranty.
Yeah,
There you
definitely.
go.
The location is extremely important, as you you pointed out, and she's in a remote, location. So
I don't know if it's the fact that it's a woman or whatever, but boy, it sounds like they're ready to sock it to her.
oh boy,
Yep.
She's not giving them the chance.
oh, that's great. I'm glad to hear
Thank
that.
you, guys.
That makes
I
me
won't hold
happy.
you further because I was going to start the tariffs, but I want to tell you how bad some things are. Volkswagen announced on the 3rd, this 1/3 is their profits dropped in first 6 months of this year. It's unbelievable. Jaguar laid off a whole bunch of people. They also make Range Rover.
Yeah.
But my point is, be careful what you buy because, as Earl said, Nissan included, there may be a lot of companies that may not be around. So do your homework, consumers reports, whatever you have to do before you buy a brand car, and check it out carefully because they may not be around. And people like me never thought that Oldsmobile and Pontiac and Mercury, et cetera, would not be around forever. So it's
Absolutely.
important just to keep in mind what you're buying. And I hate to tell you what I recommend, and I've been buying it since 1976, the Volkswagen of Toyota. So Toyota sales are through the roof. Their global sales in the last 5 months is up 11%. Worldwide, they're up 6.7%. But the fact is, there are other good cars, like the woman that called about a Honda.
Yeah.
You can't do better than that. There are great cars out there.
Yeah.
But
there-
again, do your homework.
Definitely some great cars out there. And it's amazing, how prices vary when you're purchasing or you're maintaining your vehicle in a different location, anywhere in Palm Beach County to, this remote, where was this young girl?
Panhandle,
Yeah.
small town, I forget
So,
what it was, but
yeah,
it's
it's
like in
a-
the middle of nowhere.
Significant. It's
Yes.
just the prices just vary. So it's great that you were there to advise.
Well, John, congratulations again for the award. You're an honorary member of the show. And in fact, we'll definitely have you present the plaque, and you can pick it up at the dealership or maybe at the radio station. And we'll let you know when the plaque's available.
Okay. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for the honor.
Oh, you're welcome, John.
Thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you for being part of the show all this time. Have a great weekend. Our number here is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget, youranonymousfeedback.com. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
I was, as I was preparing for the show this morning, I remembered a news, we were watching NBC News last night, Nancy and I, And I couldn't believe the fact that hospitals, I guess I'm not that observant, but hospitals have junk fees. I mean, I knew travel agents did. I knew rental car companies did. Everybody is airlines are famous for it. But I mean, people that are very, very sick. They had a man that had a terrible illness, and he had some treatments that the doctor charged him like $150 for, and he was charged thousands of dollars. And it's something called a facility fee. And the hospitals, I mean, it's like a conspiracy. Next time you get a bill from the hospital, check what they charge you. And if you didn't have something done, just like you would with a car dealer, always ask, what's that, what's that, what's this? A facility fee. And it is profit to the hospital. And they actually got a CEO or at least a high-ranking manager of a hospital on the air. It was NBC News last night, and the woman was defending it and saying that, you know, without that money, we couldn't provide as good service to our customers, to our patients. Well, you know, you're taking money from this person that doesn't owe you anything. And if you're telling the truth, you're using it to take care of somebody that you are doing work for. I mean, this isn't Marxism. I mean, you don't steal from the rich and give to the poor. I mean, if you pay for a service, it should be what the service is worth. You don't pay extra so you can take somebody else in and take care of them. That's not the way capitalism works. So here we are. Car dealers have been ripping you off for 100 years. But I always thought there were some sacrosanct institutions like hospitals that weren't screwing their customers, but I'm wrong. Anyway, I vented. Rick?
Johnny Z. Fradley wants to know, do the hospitals charge for nitrogen in the tires?
They're probably putting, they're probably putting them in the beds, or maybe in the mattress. Nitrogen in the mattress.
And I got one here from Kim Appreciates Life. She says, Rick, please ask Earl and Nancy if they added extra UV tinting on your Tesla windows and windshield. She says, I want a Tesla and need good tint because I'm very sensitive to the sun.
Do you have it? Nancy's more sensitive than I am.
Yeah,
so.
that's a great question. And it is something that I have considered and definitely hadn't had time to look into. But I feel your pain. Yeah, sensitivity
so Kim,
matters.
They have not added tint to their Teslas, but you may definitely want to look into that.
I'm happy with the way it looks, and I actually have learned to drive my Tesla without sunglasses, and it's not bad at all.
Yeah. Well, to your point on your Cybertruck, on many occasions as a driver, as you driving the Cybertruck, you just go through so many motions with your sun visor, pulling it over, pulling it down, and you too, you don't think you are, but you too are sensitive, but you just don't think about it as often as someone else would.
Yeah, you're right.
But you don't have any sun protection on that vehicle that I can see.
Yeah.
Nor do I. Okay. I think we're done with our phone calls, so what I was going to ask you, Rick, is for Anne Marie's text.
Got it right here.
Good morning, Anne Marie, and thank you for joining us every week. We so appreciate you.
And she says, good morning. I popped the hood and looked at the engine compartment of my 2013 Camry. I noticed what looked like splotches of paint in various spots. They obviously came from the factory. What are they there for? Thanks. Those are generally inspection marks. When the vehicle's going through its build process, you've got certain people that are looking at various bolts to make sure that they were torqued properly. They're looking to make sure certain components were installed and set up properly. And when they do, they're going to use a little paint marker and put a little dab of paint. And it's, because it's under the hood, it can be a contrasting color, so it's easy to spot. But that lets everybody know down the line that that part was checked and double checked. And a lot of these, the oil change places will use a special yellow paint when they change your oil, they'll put it on the drain plug. That way they can see if somebody tampered with it. So yeah, they're just simple inspection marks, and they're done just to let people know, hey, this was checked and verified, and it's right.
Well, you're right to ask the question, Anne-Marie, because you find all sorts of strange things in cars. And I just read in the paper the other day that they found a wallet inside the door panel of a car that one of the assembly line workers had lost 25 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember as a Pontiac dealer, we had a rattle that we couldn't find anywhere. And we took off the door panel and found a wrench that one of the assembly line workers had left inside the car. So every now and then you get some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And today it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah.
I know from the classic car community, because I love reading on all the classic cars. When people buy an old car and they're restoring it, as they're taking it apart, they will find those inspection marks. And sometimes they're done in just chalk or paint, and they're in places that you're never going to see again because obviously other parts are installed over them.
Yeah.
They will still photograph that mark and recreate it exactly.
You're kidding me.
Just so that they know, and then they've got photos of all this showing their restoration.
Wow.
So when they show this car off at a car show, they've got a whole photo album out there, and it will show, yeah, we took it apart so far and restored it back so perfectly that it has these original inspection marks recreated.
Do you think they did that on our 1937 Pontiac?
I would almost guarantee it.
That was Harborside restoration. It took them 3 years to do that.
I would almost guarantee they did that.
Yeah.
If they found inspection marks, they probably went to, because I've driven that car, and that car is, oh man, it's perfect.
100% original.
That thing is gorgeous, that car. But I will say, I would very seriously bet they recopied everything and made it perfect.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
It definitely cost a lot of money and a long, long time. I have to say, thank you so much, Anne-Marie. Boy, what a great question.
Yeah.
You know, there's more, of our listeners, our callers who don't know these paint marks or inspection marks, whatever you want to call them. But that is a great question.
She's a very smart woman. I wish she'd run for public office or something, because we need women like her in government.
That would
Absolutely.
be good.
Very smart.
Very good.
Very
Anne-Marie,
smart.
thank you so much for being part of the show and asking such an important question. Rick, what else do you have?
Well, I do have one interesting one here. Stephen Weiss says, apparently he's in Eastern Europe. He says in the Russian Federation, you can buy a Lada, which is a Russian-made vehicle,
It's a Fiat.
LADA.
It's a Fiat.
Yeah, and they come standard with four-wheel drive and a locking center differential, basically due to the weather over there, the winters, and the conditions of some of their roads. And he says they are incredible for what they do over there. And he says a brand new Lada. Take a guess, U.S. dollars, of what he says is the approximate price on one.
$5,000.
$11,000.
Yeah.
Still, that's a third of what our new car is over here, the average new
Yeah,
car.
when I was a Fiat dealer back in the 70s, and they were made. They called them Ladas in Russia, and they call them Fiats here. So I'm not sure what's happened in all those years since then, but those Fiats back then, they were extremely cheap. They were really basic, no air conditioning, nothing.
Yep.
And but where you lost me when back then they were the worst car on the road, and the Fiats are the worst car on the road today. I don't know that the Lada is a good car, but he seems to indicate that it is a good car. It's very inexpensive.
Yeah, what's shocking is $11,000.
Yeah, I mean
Wow.
that's the way they sell, because where can you buy a car for $11,000?
Exactly.
Before we go any further, I have one thing I've been procrastinating on. We have our list of who do you call if you have a problem, and on that list is Google, Consumer Reports, TrueCar, Costco, and these are sources of information that are very, very good. We hope Earl on Cars is on that list too. As I say, you got Google, Consumer Reports, ChatGPT, TrueCar. We're going to add a company that we had something to do with many years ago. We almost got together, and then we backed off for reasons I won't go into now. But that company is CarEdge, CAREDGE, and it's a father and son operation. Ray and Zach Shefska. Ray and Jack Shefska. So CarEdge.com, CAREDGE.com. And they are, I guess you could call them a broker, but they're also a source of information. And they are honest, they are entertaining, they're informative, their YouTubes are excellent. And if you want to buy a car, they have a list of approved dealers. Now, they do charge you to buy a car for you. That ranges anywhere from $500 to $1,000, maybe $300 to $1,000. Well, you say, why the hell would I pay $1,000 to somebody to give me a place I should buy a car? Well, the only reason you would do it if they could save you $2,000 on the car. So that's why we parted ways back then, because they wanted us to participate, and we're now changing our mind. I haven't called CarEdge, but we have some mutual friends that know Ray and Zach, and actually are doing business with them. And we found out that they're the real McCoy. They're genuine. So CarEdge.com. If you want to buy a car in Arizona or Florida or California, say I want to buy a Honda and I live near Los Angeles, what do you recommend at Honda dealers? You have to pay them. No, that's not what you recommended. They'll buy the car for you. I'm sorry, they'll buy the car for you, and then you have to pay them a broker fee. So everything's up front.
Okay. So the broker fee, dealer fee,
That's not. No, don't say dealer fee. That's a dirty word. Broker fee is real, and you pay it. You know what you're paying it for.
Okay, so that's all a person would be.
That's all they pay, and then they would. So you go out, you do your car shopping, and you find the best price you can, and then you go to CarEdge and say, I want to buy a Honda Civic. What can you do for it? They say, okay, we found a place. They'll sell you a Honda Civic for this money. And if it's lower than the price you got when you shopped, you say, where do I sign? But know that there was a fee involved. And they tell you there's a fee involved.
Yeah.
You know, that's not plus. It's included in the price.
I got you. Well, it sounds like Zach and Ray are, pretty upstanding, truthful people. Transparency. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting close to the Mystery Shopping Report and some other topics. So stay tuned. Rick, do you have any?
Well, Jonathan asked me to give a quick note here. Probably Earl should tell the story better. What the story is of the 37 Pontiac we've been talking about. And Earl's father started Stewart Pontiac in West Palm Beach. And in 1937, the first car that he sold was to, I believe her name was Annie Swan, a school teacher.
Yes.
And years later, he went back and he bought that car back from her. So it was the very first car that he ever sold at that dealership, and bought it back and had it on display at the Pontiac dealership there. And then when they decided to let the Pontiac dealership go, Earl held onto the car and kept it. And it got kind of rough. Florida weather, it had some issues with just sitting so much. So he sent it away, and I don't know what the dollar tag price was, but I know it was 3 years they spent restoring this car, and it is beautiful. It's sitting in the showroom right now, but it's this beautiful 1937 Pontiac Chieftain, and it's a gorgeous car.
Yeah, it was over $200,000 in 2 or 3 years to do the restoration because we wanted it totally original.
Yeah.
Annie Swan was a maid to a wealthy Palm Beach couple.
Okay.
And she retired, and when she could no longer drive, my father called her and said, what are you going to do with the car? So we paid her sticker price for the car. We paid her what she paid for the car, and that was $911, and that was full price. That was MSRP. So MSRP Pontiac Chieftain, $911, and we also had a dealer fee. It was $6.50.
Let me tell you this: that $900 and some dollars, that's a car payment today.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
And that was on the low end a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
because it's well above that right now. It's over $1,000.
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting history. Okay.
And
Rick.
one other quick note: the last time that car actually got driven on the road, we had someone had asked if Earl's car could be used to drive in a Veterans Day parade in West Palm Beach, and Earl asked me to take the car and drive it in this parade. Well, I arrived there, and suddenly they're telling me, "Hey, by the way, we're going to put these like teenage beauty queens in the car with you."
Oh boy.
Well, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about this. It's like, oh, this is going to be weird. And unfortunately, due to the fact that other cars didn't show up, they didn't have enough, so they switched the teenage beauty queens onto No Hill Mike's big flatbed 5-ton Army vehicle that he had there, and they put a beauty queen in with me. She was 3 years old with her mother sitting right there, and the cutest little beauty queen you ever saw.
Oh, what a nice
standing up
story.
and waving out the window at all the folks as we drove that Pontiac down through West Palm Beach.
You know, that's a great story. Earl and I had a great time. Earl drove the 1937 Pontiac. The two of us were going to St. Jude's. And when we got up there, boy, I'll tell you what a conversation piece on that 1937. At that time, Wendy was employed at the dealership, and she too was there. And everyone was in awe. You recall?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Okay. We ready for the mystery shopping report?
I
or-
think it's time to move on our mystery shopping report. And folks, we love to hear from you. And we can hear from you if you text us at 772-497-6530. And our mystery shop is from Genesis in Stewart. And, yeah, you know, it's another great mystery shopping report.
So we'll have the callers, YouTubers, or the big voters. We get a lot of good information there, and Facebook, and you can text the score in, and ChatGPT, aka Coach, is my name for ChatGPT, is going to also give us a score on the. We've been awfully quiet with Coach because we've had a few technical problems, and we've had some people call in and say, "Hey, get off this ChatGPT stuff." So we've been used him sparingly. Nancy asked at the beginning of the show, "What do you think about Coach ChatGPT?" Don't we have a picture of him?
Yes, we do.
And we're showing a picture of Chat. I asked ChatGPT, if you were human, how would you see yourself? And he created this picture. And so that's a picture that you people streaming this can see of what he looks like. And I'm going to ask Chat right now.
You know,
Nancy has
a few weeks ago when we started this whole deal with ChatGPT, I had asked the question as to what he would look like, what he would be wearing, and it was quite telling. We even had someone call in who said, "I'm not interested in what ChatGPT looks like," and I was talking about his hoodie and the electronics in his pockets and how interesting he looked. But this is going to be interesting. Let's pull that picture up.
It's up, I think. Coach, you ready for the mystery shopping report? And are you ready to give us your score? A little lag here every now and then when Chat thinks.
You were on mute when you asked the question.
I am on, no, I wasn't, no.
Yeah, ask it again.
Yeah, Chat, am I muted when it's on mute? Okay. Chat, what do you think about giving us a score on the mystery shopping report?
I'm definitely here. So whenever you're ready for me to give that grade, just let me know, and I'll be happy to jump in. Looking forward to it.
Okay, Coach, here we go. I'm going to start the mystery shopping report.
Awesome. I'm ready whenever you are. Let's see how this dealership did.
Mystery shop of Genesis of Stewart. Now, for you listeners outside the area, Stewart might be my last name, but it's also the name of a town just about 30 or 40 miles north of us on the east coast of Florida, spelled S-T-U-A-R-T, not S-T-E-W-A-R-T. Genesis of Stewart. Genesis of Stewart is part of the Wallace Group, and Bill Wallace, he and I go way back, and I've known him for 50 years or more. He owns a lot of dealerships now, and he owns Genesis of Stewart. Genesis, as some of you know, is a spinoff from Hyundai because Hyundai made the decision that they were going to be like Toyota. They were going to have their luxury car name, and they were going to have their for everybody else car name. And so we've got Lexus and Toyota, and now we have Genesis and Hyundai. And Hyundai is part of the Amazon program. It'll be interesting to see if Genesis is part of that. I think it will be. And in fact, I'm not going to say I'm sure it will, but it sure should be. So here we go. Mr. Shop of Genesis of Stewart, speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, our fantastic undercover agent. I decided to investigate Genesis of Stewart because as I was driving up US 1, I noticed they had a huge grand opening sign hanging out front on the highway. I arrived late in the morning and was greeted by a very nice salesman named Paul. I showed him a picture on my phone of a new 2025 Genesis GV, as in Victor, GV70 in red. A vehicle I wanted to see, but he informed me they didn't have that color in stock. Then I spotted a manager special. Everybody's got a manager special, right? Manager special on the sales floor, and told him I really liked that one. It was the same model, a new 2025 GV70 3.5T, is in Thomas, and Capri blue, with a Sevilla red interior. The MSRP was $67,639. The maroon label was on the dash. The maroon label is supposed to be on the window. Well, it could be worse. We find them in the back seat. We find them in the trunk. We don't find them. We find them, you name it, we find them there. But they took it off the window where the law says it must be. They put it on the dash. So they weren't trying to hide anything. Technically, they were violating the law. I'm not going to gig up too hard on that. There was a sticker on the windshield announcing the manager special. I guess that's why they took off the Maroni label. And a big green tag hanging down the rearview mirror with the sale price of $63,639. That was a $4,000 discount from MSRP. Paul, the salesman, said, "This is really a great vehicle. It's actually the same model Tiger Woods was driving when he had his rollover accident. It's very safe. It likely saved his life." I'm glad he added all that because I didn't, when you say this is the same car Tiger Woods was driving when he had an accident, you kind of make it. But I believe that was Tiger's fault.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't wish to elaborate on that. And that was the GV80, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they changed the number based on the year. I could be wrong on that.
It's a sportier car, Jonathan. Tiger was driving.
Okay. He explained further, Genesis using brand new steel for manufacturing. Uses brand new steel. I put a question mark on that. It's all one piece, much heavier than other brands, and has the best 5-star crash rating. We call this one the Superman model because it's blue with a red interior. Well, the salesperson was almost right. It does have special steel, but it's not much heavier steel. It's just a different type of steel, which is superior. It's just good steel. I checked that out with Coach, and Coach is listening. He'll verify that when I get back to ask his analysis. The Genesis was indeed beautiful. However, when I sat inside, I noticed it already had been driven 4,500 miles. And Paul explained, yes, it's a demo, and that's why it's marked down. So I digress briefly to go to new car and used car. What's a new car? What's a used car? Very, very fuzzy, and you really got to nail this down. Demos are new cars. Cars that were driven by the owner's wife is a new car. Cars that were used in the service department for service delivery are new cars. They're new cars whether they got 500 miles or 5,000 miles on it. Why? Because the law says if the car has never been titled, it's a new car. So you can buy a new car that's got 300,000 miles on it. That's the reason I think the definition of new car should be refined. But unfortunately, you just have to be careful. So it's a demo, and that's why it's marked down. He added that I had a 350-degree bird's eye view. Is that a bird's eye view, 350 degree? Yeah, fully loaded, and included a smart app with seasonal settings. Smart app with seasonal settings, allowing remote start and automatic adjustment of interior air temperature.
I wonder if that might just be a typo that was meant to be a 360-degree view.
You're exactly right. Very,
Thank you, Rick.
Very absorbent. Stu was a little tired last night when he typed that. I asked Paul, could you provide a price sheet for this vehicle? I'm very interested. Paul replied, we don't do price sheets here. I mean, that's just a arrogant, stupid comment. We don't do price sheets here. How about, I'm sorry we don't, you know? That's just me. The price you see hanging in the window is the price, plus dealer fees, taxes, and tag. Well, that's a contradiction in terms. The price you see in the window is the price, pause, plus, let me say what dealer fees are. They're junk fees. It's not a polite term, but they're profit for the dealer. Brian immediately asked, are you looking to buy right now? I replied, I'm planning to make a purchase this weekend, but I haven't fully decided on the vehicle yet. Brian cut me off mid-sentence, saying confidently, go get your best price elsewhere and bring it back here. That is so South Florida. That is so Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Stewart, I'm sorry to say, which is north of Miami quite a bit. It's about an hour drive, but it's still South Florida, and it's rough and tough. And they got the junk fees, the dealers and all accessories, and they got the salesman all saying, when you want a price, go get your best price and bring it back here. Otherwise, they're afraid you'll buy from the competition. Well, that's called the American way of life, competition, capitalism, shop and compare prices. That's one of the things that makes USA a great place to live. We have a free market economy. And when you tell somebody you're not going to give them a price, that's not free market. That's controlling the customer and the price and conspiring with your competition indirectly to keep a higher price. So he guaranteed that he'll beat the price. And of course, I guess they would put it in writing. Some dealers do put it in writing, but they're lying. It's a question whether they're going to lie verbally or in writing or both. Unhappy with his attitude, I said, I need something to work with because I genuinely like this vehicle. Brian instructed Paul. This is really, I'm laughing because I used to do this, and I hate myself. I need to see a psychiatrist, and I would say, why do I hate myself? And he would talk me back into the time where I would say to a customer, I would take my business card. I was even worse. I don't have a business card in my pocket, so I can't act it out, but I'd take my business card out, and I'd say, I'm writing my best price on my business card, and I'm putting it in my pocket. And when you shopped around and you come back, I promise you this price will be lower than any price you got. I did that. Anyway, psychiatrist would say, well, that's why you have a problem today. And I said, yeah, I know. Anyway, I digress. So he says, write it down on a sheet of paper and show her what it would be. Paul wrote this, on the sheet of paper. It says, $63,639. Dealer fee, $899. Tax 7%. New tax $450. New tax $450. Yeah. So it's okay. It just makes it. You see, the reason they wrote it on a piece of paper is because there's nothing official on it. And so when you go to the competition and you give a piece of scrap paper with numbers written on it, and say, yeah, I can buy that from Wallace Genesis, and here's the price. Well, you're not showing them an invoice or a buyer's order or any kind of a legal document. You got a piece of torn off scrap paper that somebody, could have been you or could have been your mother, it could have been anybody, wrote these numbers down, and you're trying to make this dealer believe that that's a price the dealer Genesis gave you. So it's an insult to my intelligence if I were a shopper. When Brian took a phone call, Paul quietly confided, I don't agree with the way things are done here. But the big bosses set his rules. Believe me, I'm on your side. So here he is trying to align himself with me, the shopper. It's me and the shopper against, his manager. Manager's the evil guy, and I'm going to help you fool the evil guy and get a good price. And that is a crock, as you can well imagine. I pushed harder with Brian, stating firmly, you're going to lose my business because you refuse to give me a proper price sheet. Brian responded, none of the dealerships around here provide price sheets anymore because people use them to shop around. What? Shop around?
Uh-oh.
You're not allowed to shop around when you buy something. This is Stuart, Florida. Where do you think you are? You pay the price, I tell you, and you believe me. I mean, this is almost comical. Well, it's not, because it's the way car dealers operate, almost all of them. I retorted, then why would I come back here when you won't even give me something concrete to start with? It doesn't make any sense. You're losing my business over this. Brian excused himself, saying he would speak with his boss to see if he could make an exception. He returned within 2 minutes, apologizing, sorry, I can't do that. And started scribbling numbers on a piece of paper. Meanwhile, Paul retrieved a sheet from his filing cabinet. I looked directly at both of them and said, thanks, but no thanks. I'll drive hours away before ever doing business here because this just doesn't seem right. Paul walked me to the door, apologized sincerely, and said he wished he could have provided a proper price sheet. He encouraged me to consider returning for my final purchase, emphasizing their phenomenal service department. It's too late for that now. And the exceptional safety, the Genesis is a hell of a car. I mean, it's really a great car. I told Paul frankly, I didn't like Brian's attitude or cockiness. You won't see me again. I'd rather drive hours to buy a car elsewhere. And there you have it, folks. And it's time to vote. And we'll go around the clock. We'll get Rick, his voters, and Nancy's voters.
Before we get our votes in, I just wanted to make a a point of the first page of the mystery shopping report, and it wasn't a typographical error. Stu did mean 350 degree bird's eye view. And ChatGPT compares 360 to 350. And
very good.
I'll hold off on that information so we can move forward on the votes.
Well, we're starting off with Bob from Maryland, who says, in the beginning, it took 6 minutes to do a sales pitch and get an A. And on the 7th minute, they got an F.
Oh, boy.
In the beginning, I like that.
I just love these folks. Let's see here. All we got on YouTube so far. All right, we got Tom Steckel says, only $4,000 off on a driven car, plus dealer fees, and arrogant lack of disclosure is a new type of steal. Grade F.
Ooh.
Compare Central Florida Genesis, no dealer fees, and no addendums.
Ooh.
Brian Sidlatko, just give me the out-the-door price. F. Andrew Plasinski, D. Incredibly brazen. Mark Ryan, F minus. Far too much hassle and effort to buy a vehicle. The spelling of the salesperson's last name is close to how they treat customers. Mark Smith says, I figured it would go this way. D minus from me. Mark H. F. Waiting for the rube of the day to show up. Baby Boomer says this one is easy. F. Johnny Z. Fradley. F. Joseph Kelleher. Dealership not willing to give the customer a price gets this dealership an F. Negan 1 says big F. And Tim Gilliland says, I get the feeling that they really didn't care. Adios, D.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm a little torn because, we got Anne Marie says, hell of a dealership selling a hell of a car. Guess they earn an H below F. There was a Wallace dealership, I think it might have been a used car dealership, that did such a phenomenal job a couple of years ago that we all pretty much across the board gave them an A+.
I remember that,
And it was well-deserved. And when I heard Wallace Genesis, at first I got excited. I'm thinking, hey, this will be another good one. And right now I wonder, is Mr. Wallace asleep?
Nah, he's just got.
He cannot possibly know.
He's got too much going on. He's a good guy. I've known Bill Wallace. We were both young dealers together, and he's a really good guy. His father, my mother worked for his father. We go way back. Yeah.
That whole adventure just for me it turned into a slime pit.
Yeah.
Got
too big.
I know you don't like it, but I'm saying F. It felt way too slimy for me.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
I need to go home and take a shower.
Oh, boy. I have to say that the salesperson, Paul, he went to a lot of trouble to share with Agent Lightning this Superman model, Tiger Woods, so on and so forth. And I'm with everyone else. I'm going to give him an F.
Boy, the reason I feel bad is I'm going to have to call Bill Wallace and apologize and then tell him we only did it for your good. And he'll probably go in there and clean up Dodge. I mean,
and isn't that a great looking car? I mean, you and I have
Genesis
seen it
car,
on the road, and it's just, between the Genesis and the Lexus, you're going to pay a whole lot less for the Genesis, and it is aesthetically, it is just a beautiful car.
And with the votes, a couple still coming in, South Florida Two-Step says D- for non-transparency, no real price, 4,000 miles on a new car.
Yeah.
And here we have Frank in Jupiter Farms says, sadly, the dealerships are still deceiving the buying public. F. On a side note, a neighbor of his had a Pontiac Chieftain wagon in 1969.
Okay, can we get ChatGPT's analysis? Coach, what sort of grade do you want to give this Genesis of Stewart?
From what I've gathered, it seems like they did a decent job overall, but they might have had a few minor issues, like maybe some hidden fees or a little bit of a pushy attitude. So I'm leaning towards giving them maybe a C+ or a B-. Let me know if that sounds good to you.
Well, thank you, Coach. I think probably on the lower end of the scale, all of us so far, and I do the last vote, have scored them very, very low. Well,
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah,
if the rest of the team is leaning towards a lower score, we can definitely adjust that grade down. Maybe we could go with a D or something in that range to reflect that. Let me know what you think.
Thank you, Coach. That's good. We'll go with. I think I'm going to give it because I'll be honest. Because Bill Wallace is a friend of mine, I'm going to give him a D+. And that's a very low grade for a Wallace store, and everybody else failed him. And he's got a couple of rotten apples in the barrel there at Wallace Genesis, and the store just opened up. They probably just hired some people, and I'd be a liar if I told you we didn't have a rotten apple or two at my dealership. And every now and then people get the rotten apples, and the whole dealership looks bad. So we'll hope that's the case. And as I say, I will alert Bill Wallace, and he'll clean up Dodge. he really cares about his customers.
Yeah, it's too bad that Paul didn't spend more time, being courteous and knowledgeable to Agent Lightning. Spending time on the fact that Tiger Woods drove the car, the steel, the brand new steel that was put together by the Genesis GV70. It was just an unfortunate situation. And that was the reason, I feel bad giving that dealership an F, but I had no other choice.
I remind people also that our mystery shopping reports, we do go online, we do get a price, but we physically go into the dealership. That's becoming more and more of the ancient, obsolete way of buying a car. It's almost crazy to go into a car dealership. If you've got any kind of talent at all with your smartphone, you should not go in. You should buy completely online. And you can today buy a car. You can test drive the car. You can finance the car. You can take delivery at your home. You literally don't have. It's scary. It sounds scary because you're looking at a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 purchase, but you are covered and protected all the way. And why go in and risk the abuse that Agent Lightning submitted to when she bought the car?
And a couple of weeks ago you mentioned, me making phone calls, and what a mess that turned into. But I was in my office making those phone calls. So when you walk into a dealership, it's a roll of the dice. Okay, folks. Jonathan, we have 1 minute left.
Hey, quick note. Those that want to be able to test drive a car without going to the dealership, check out certain rental companies around town to see if they have the make and model that you want to drive, or consider like two-row, where you can rent the vehicle from another person who already owns it and drive it for a day or two, so you can really get a good drive in, like highway, back roads, backing in and out of parking spots, finding out where the blind spots are, so you can really feel comfortable in the car before you go to buy.
That's a great idea, Rick. And I second the motion. And most importantly, getting a feel, pardon the pun, for the seat and the comfort, the inside of the car. I mean, once you purchase that vehicle and you get in and you go, oh, my aching back, what do you do? So, like Rick said, check it all out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning here at the Oldies Channel. Earl on Cars. We'll be right back here next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Have a beautiful weekend. God bless.